longest word in dictionary through deleting. In this problem, we are given a string and a dictionary. So dictionary contains a list of words. So what it asks us to find is it's based on this input string. By deleting certain characters in this, whether we can find the word in here, right? Whether it can form a word in here. So for example, in this case, this string, by deleting some characters, we can form a word apple. We're gonna return apple. So now, if there is multiple strings can be found in this dictionary, we're gonna return the longest one, right? And if some of the strings all like have the same length, right? Some of the strings all have the longest length, then we're gonna return the string that was the smallest alphabetical order. Okay, so for example, this one, right? So apple is going to be able to formed by this string by deleting some characters, and apple is our result. For the second example, we can actually form A, B, and C based on the string. So by deleting like all the characters except A, we're gonna form A. So although all three can be our answer, but we're gonna return the smallest alphabetical order because they have the same length, which is A is our answer, right? So by knowing this, um, one thought of this to solve the problem is to iterate through the dictionary, right? And then try to see whether each of the word can be formed by deleting some characters from S, right? So as long as we find someone in here, for example, ALE is one of our candidate answer, but we can delete some, like suppose we can delete some characters in here and form ALE, which we can actually. So like this is our potential answer with a length 3. And then we iterate through the next one and then say, okay, apple, we can also delete some characters and then find apple as well. Now, compared to the previous answer, apple has is longer, right? Then we're gonna substitute the current answer with our new answer, which is apple, right? And then we're gonna keep iterating, keep doing that until we finish iterating all the strings. And the result we have, the answer we have, is going to be the answer we're going to return. This is the intuition. So when there's a case that we find an answer, but the answer is the same length of the previous answer, then we're gonna check whether alphabetically it is smaller. If it's smaller, then we're good. We're gonna override the previous answer with the new answer, right? So let's take a look at the code, right? So we're gonna initialize the result to an empty string, and we iterate through the list of words, right? So if we have our word is less than the result length, then we know that is not going to be an answer, right? So for example, we already find apple in this case as our answer with the length 5, and we don't even need to check whether uh, this word it can be formed by S, because even if it can, it won't be our answer because it's a length 4. It will be less than apple, right? So we're going to continue, and then otherwise, this meaning that the word is going to be length less or equals to the length of the current result right now. So we're going to check whether this is a subsequence. So here is the part where we're going to answer the question: how do we check whether this word can be formed by the string S, right? So how do we do that? So by definition, this word is going to be our candidate if S can delete some certain characters within itself, and then it can form the string, right? So it's the same problem that we deal with before in our longest uncommon subsequence. So like by deleting some characters in S, that means this word will be a subsequence of S, right? So we already have a helper method in this question, and we can just copy it over in here. So this one will check whether S1 string S1 is a subsequence of S2. So if you haven't checked it out, please do that. So the gist of it is it will iterate through S1 and S2, and then try to compare each of the characters. So as long as S2 the characters in S2 are all covered by S1, then we're going to return true. Otherwise, we return false, right? So by using this helper, in here, we're going to check, right, whether the current word is a subsequence of S, which is like, hey, by deleting some characters, I can get apple, for example, right? So if we can do that, then we're going to further check whether word is greater than the length of result, right? If it is, then we're going to update the result. So if it's not, then we're going to further check whether it is in a less alphabetical order compared to result, because in here they have the same length. We already dealt with the less, like word is less length than result in here, right? So if it satisfies the condition, then we update the result to the current result. And then finally, we return the result after iterating through all the words from the dictionary. Right? And then we have our answer.